We are at the table for some table talk. At the table with me, Annemarie Wolfrat, a longtime top desker specialized in agility. Gunnar Boer, account manager and member of the diversity and inclusion team at TOPdesk. And Renske van der Heide, change agent and leader of strategic transformations in TOPdesk. Thanks to you three for being here at the table. And I'm just going to dive right in with you, Gunnar. Would you like to share your reaction to Jitske Kramer's talk? And I'm sure we all felt a lot of things. So, but what's your reaction?
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction. What I'm going to take home from what Jitske said, and there's a lot of things, so let's focus on one thing, and that is strong types of tribes make strong communication, makes a strong organization. And I think especially during the pandemic and now in the afterflow of it, is interesting to see how that connectivity and that connection part in communication will develop over time. So that's something to think about.
Oh, thank you, Gunnar. I want to dive in more, but before we continue, Tosca, I think we've got our next poll ready to go. Yeah,
we sure do. Regarding the saying, happy employees make happy customers, what do you believe? A, if your product is good, customers will be happy anyway. B, indeed, a happy workforce comes first. C, external customers should always be your first priority. Let us know what you think. We'll return to your answers later on during this table talk.
Alrighty. Well, it is interesting to look at the element of people within the TOPdesk context, because it doesn't seem self-evident that a software company developing products for IT departments would spend so much energy on its people. Renske, would you mind taking a moment sort of elaborating on that contradiction?
Sure.
Or seeming contradiction?
Yeah, well, at TOPdesk, we made it our mission to make our employees feel engaged. What we see is that engaged employees are more committed, more productive, more creative, and actually they deliver better services and products to our customers. They go that extra mile to really make our customers happy. So what you see is that happy employees leads to happier customers. And it goes for every industry, so also for a tech company like TOPdesk. So for us, it's answer B, right?
All right, well then, okay, I see how that works for you, but do you have any advice for IT departments at other companies and how to give more attention to the workforce?
Sure. Well, we did this huge research among IT departments all over the world, and what we noticed is that a lot of IT organizations are struggling. They feel a lot of pressure, they are understaffed, they find it very difficult to make employees like their customers more satisfied. At the same time, we see that their #1 goal in 2021 is to make their customers more happy. So they really want to deliver services that matches the needs of their customers, which is cool, right? But how do you do that? Well, first of all, make sure that you really understand what your customers need, like what is making them tick, understand their struggles. For example, if you look at hybrid working, let's take a second to understand what's happening there, right? If 6 of your fellow employees, or fellow colleagues in your team are working at the office, and just you are sitting at home, these 6 people are having a meeting, they're making jokes, they can see each other in the eye, they can like see each other's expressions, like frowning or like, cool idea. And you're all missing that. You're not seeing that. And when they are going to the coffee machine and have a short break, they're discussing in between this meeting, like, what do you think of this proposal? And you're all missing that. And if you want to really have a smooth digital experience for your customer, you have to involve also other service departments like facilities, HR, and so on. Because it really matters if the 6 people are sitting in one room and can interact and make fun, or that they're sitting separately in separate cubicles, and that makes it more equal. So if you want to implement an organizational change, for example, like hybrid working, make sure that you involve everybody that you need, the customers, other service departments, even partners or suppliers that are relevant for the solution. So yeah, we really noticed that IT departments can help make the fellow employees, their colleagues, their internal customers make more happy.
That's interesting. So I think a lot of companies are hip to inclusivity, but this locational inclusivity and making sure you keep track of where people are, that will be a new one. Thanks for pointing that out. I think I think, Tosca, do we have the results of the poll yet?
I think we do. Let me share them with you. Once they're on the big screen. Regarding the saying, happy employees make happy customers, I believe only 7% of you thinks if your product is good, customers will be happy. But 78% says, indeed, a happy workforce comes first. Now, I guess you all think that is good news.
I suspect you're right. Annemarie, can you put a fine point on that? How do you explain these results?
I think it makes a lot of sense. If we look at our audience today watching this cool broadcast, they are typically engaged with the topic of service excellence, customer experience, and improving that. So I'm very happy to see these results, of course, but I'm totally biased.
But we might have some selection bias. The folks watching might be the type that are more going to answer that way. Well, within organizations, we encounter diversity on different levels. This is both within the workforce and the customer base. Gunnar, how can we focus on diversity and inclusivity to create a happier workforce and happier customers at the same time?
Yes, so I think currently it's more of the point of focusing on that inclusivity part, especially since we're getting in that hybrid way of working, either in the office or remotely, or a combination of both. And if you look to it from a communication part of view and a connectivity part of view, you don't want people to miss out, as what Renske earlier said. So to sort of fill that gap and really think about how to keep people connected with each other, even if it is remotely, or if there's a presentation company-wide, or if there's something happening company-wide, make sure to sort of tackle that and get that communication equal for all. So what we at TOPdesk, for example, are currently doing is renovating our auditorium and getting a new film studio in there, so that people that are watching at home, working remotely, or even working in a different branch can experience a company-wide presentation in the same way as the people physically in the venue. And I think that is a very important thing that the pandemic teaches us.
Maybe you should just do all of your future TOPdesk meetings here in this studio. I think that's an idea. Just put that in the box. If I'm not mistaken, Tosca, you're in the crowd now. You've got a question from the audience. I mean, the socially distanced crowd.
I am with Sophie, or actually, I'm not really with Sophie. You know the drill. I'm a meter and a half away from Sophie. But Sophie, you have a question.
Yeah. Well, so thank you for inspiring me. I have a question. Can you maybe help me with like the small step I could take? Like could I do tomorrow to get more engagement out of my team?
Did you get that? What can Sophie do tomorrow to get more engagement out of her team?
And who wants to jump on that?
Renske?
Yeah. Well, one small thing that you can do tomorrow, and there really is no excuse to not do that, is to schedule appointments with like all the IT professionals, schedule appointments with fellow colleagues and really observe and see how they're using your products and services, so that you understand what they're doing and can improve based on that, your services.
So that's homework for tomorrow. That's homework for tomorrow. Annemarie, how important is agility for customer happiness? And that's both internal and external.
I think it helps tremendously. If you think about agility on the effort of constantly working to add value for your customers, you need to learn, you need to experiment, you need a very strong feedback loop with your customers, both internally and externally. And what you see in teams, in people, in companies that have embodied that mindset in every engagement that they have with their customers, they usually are better equipped to do the right thing at the right time. So to understand when a customer needs something, or when a product or a service needs adjustment, and as Renske also said, to engage with the people where they are rather than where you are, because input for improving your service delivery can come from everywhere. It can come from people, but it could also, for example, come from rules and regulations, your colleagues learning all different kinds of new things. For example, everyone watching today, hopefully they will take something with them to their teams tomorrow. And a really cool example where we saw this in a very engaged team at TOPdesk as well was around accessibility in our software, where there were people thinking, it's kind of weird that we don't do this very well. And at the same time, you saw rules and regulations across the world even changing. And this team stepped up and made sure that our software is now accessible for visually impaired people. And there was no boss or manager or someone saying, you do that, we need to do that because the law changed. No, the incentive came from all these different kinds of perspective. And I think it's a really cool example of what an engaged team as Renske can do when they go that extra mile.
So it sounds like you would have answered the family organization.
I
right?
would have, yeah.
That's good to know. Look, another question for you, which is about how everything kind of went crazy with the pandemic. Renske was talking about protecting people when they're not there, and now a lot of people still work at home, and who knows what it's going to be like when we get this more hybrid reality, when we get out of this lineal phase. And how do you protect the tribe at work? How do you protect the sense of team?
It's a question that I get often, and to me, protect feels like an odd word to use because there is sort of a sense in the word protect that you need to keep what is today. And to me, and as Jiske also shared with us, it's a living organism, and you need to feed it every day or see it as a muscle that you need to flex every day. So when you start from the core values that you embody every day, you did that when you're all in the office, and hopefully you still do. It is not really a sense of protecting; it's changing into what will be, because I feel it's a lifelong relationship that you need to foster every day, whether you are in the office, at home, or in a hybrid situation.
So it's not protect, it's nurture and stimulate, even as it
for me
changes
it
and
is.
grows and develops. That's great. I want to end this session with a question for you, Renske, if I may. And it seems like a basic question. Maybe I should have started with this. But how does a happier workforce lead to customer happiness, to overall customer happiness improving?
Well, let's round up with I would say 3 takeaways from all 3 of us. I think if you listen to Gunnar, what he says, like, make sure that you have equal communication for everybody in a safe environment. And to what Annemarie said, make sure that there's like this strong feedback loop, that you really understand what your customer needs and improve your services based on that. And as for me, I would say, make sure that you're aware as IT professional of the influence that you have on making your fellow colleagues, your internal customers happier. So
that is a great place for us to stop. So thank all 3 of you for your insights. And of course, thanks to our audience member for her question.